Hey there, fellow coders. It's me, the Web3 Idiot. Welcome back to our series on hash maps or objects inside of, JavaScript. If you missed our first episode in the series, go check it out. Talk about the basics of a hash map. And then our episodes after that were just some algorithm problems that we applied hash maps to. Today, will be pretty much the same thing. We're going to be applying hash maps to this question here, the two-sum problem. So what exactly is the two-sum problem? Basically, we're going to look through our array and see if there are two numbers that add up to our target. So, for example, let's say we are given this. We are given the numbers 3, 2, 7, 5, and let's say 9. Why not? So that is our array, our input array, and our target is, let's say, 9. Okay, so our output would be the two numbers that add up to this target value. So that would actually be this 2 and this 7. So our output would be 2, 7. That would be the output for this answer here. Let's say our target is, how about 12? Why not? So what we're going to do is output the first set of values that add up to 12. So we look at this 3, compare it to the other ones, and we get to this 9 here. So our output would be 3 and 9. That would be our target value of 12. Our other answer would be 7 and 5, but we're just taking the first two values that add up to 12. And let's say we have another number called 15. Do we have numbers that add up to 15? We do not. So what we will get here is, call it no, what should we call it? No solution, maybe? That's what we should output it. No solution. So, yeah, that's about it. Today, I'm going to show you two approaches. The first one will be our brute force, which would be a double loop. And the idea here would be that first we look at 3, compare it to 2. 5, no, it is not the target of 15. 3 plus 7 is 10, no. 3 plus 5 is 8, no. 3 plus 9 is 12, no. Then we go to 2. 2 plus 7 is 9, no. 2 plus 5, 7, no. 2 plus 9, 11, no. Then we do 7 plus 5, 12, no. 7 plus 9 is 16, no. 5 plus 9 is 14, and then no. That would be our answer there. So double loop, checking sum of I plus j against target. There's that. And then our other approach would be utilizing a map. This is a much better approach as far as time and space, as far as space complexity goes. So the idea would be that we create a map, and then what we do is we say for each element, add to map and check if map has target minus element. So it's called even there. So that's pretty straightforward. Over here, our brute force. What is going on here? Our brute force, our time complexity would be, we're doing a double loop, so that would be O of n squared. N times n, because it's a double loop. Every time you see a double loop, it's going to be n squared. Next up, we have space complexity for our first one. That would be O of 1, because we're not creating any new data structures to hold any more data. For our approach number 2, time complexity would be O of 1. Because remember, when you have you just go through every number once, add it to the map, and lookup time with a map is O of 1. Not O of 1, sorry, O of n, because we're doing it n times, and lookup time is O of 1. So we just have to go through all the elements one time. So it'd be O of n, and our space complexity would also be O of n, because we're creating a map with all the elements in our array attached to a key and value set in order to be able to have a O of 1 lookup time instead of having to check against the entirety of the array. Another way of doing the brute force would just be taking I minus, or target minus I, and seeing if this array has that value by using includes. So array.includes. You could do it that way, but we're not going to do it. So let's go ahead. Let's try out our first brute force method, which would be function. And we'll do toSum loop. And inside, what are we doing? We're passing it an array and a target value. So over here, we'll drop down a bit. We'll start off with our first loop. So for let I equal 0, I is less than array.length. And we're not going to check the last element, so -1. And then over here we have I increments. And then over here, we're going to say another loop. So let j equal I plus 1, because we want to check I compared to the element to its right. And then over here we have j is less than array.length, and j needs to get to the end. And then here again, j increments. So over here, why am I getting this? Expected, blah, blah, blah. We'll solve that later. Let's see. So 4. What's going on here? Oh, sorry. 4. Crazy me. Let j equal. Sorry about that. Let's see. And what we're going to do is say if array at I plus array at j equals our target value, then what we do is we will return an array called array at I and array at j. If we make it all the way through this loop and this double loop, and we do not find our target values, which would be in this case up here, does not exist, we would say return no solution. So let's go ahead, let's run this real quick. We'll say console.log, and we'll say toSum loop. Inside we'll pass it the array. Let's just use this array up here. We have 3, 2, 7, 5, 9. And our first one, let's go for our no solution answer first. So over here we should expect these words logged out. So no solution, and we do get that. Next up, we'll go for 12. So we're expecting a 3 and a 9 to add up to the number 12. Let's run that. We do get a 3 and a 9. Next, let's try another one. Let's do, let's go for the target value of 9. So we're expecting a 2 and a 7. We'll do that, a 9, and over here we'll get a 2 and a 7. So basically what it does is it looks at looks at j moves over, j moves over, j moves over. Then I becomes this next one, I is 2, and then j is our 7. That is a match. It returns 2 and 7. So pretty straightforward. Let's try our map version. So this has a better time complexity, but a worse space complexity. So we'll come over here, say toSum map, and inside we'll pass it again an array and a target value. First, what we want to do is create our map. Let new, what should we call it? Maybe just map. Let map equal new map. Maybe we'll call it scene. Let scene equal new map, because those are the values we have seen. Then what we're going to do is we're going to loop through all of the elements in this array and see if they're the target minus that element appears. So we'll say for constant num of array, if, and what we're doing is if scene dot has, and we're checking to see if scene dot has target minus num, because that would be the complement, I guess. Then what we're going to do is this: is we will return the target minus num and the num itself. So this is the element that would be inside of the scene already. If it is not in there, else what we're going to do is we will add it to the scene. So scene dot add, and we're not adding, we're setting because it is a map. So scene dot set, and what we're going to do is say num has a value of num. And yeah, that is pretty straightforward. And we'll come down here, and at the end we will also do this same thing, return no solution if we make it all the way through our loop. Yeah. So here we go, console.log, and what we're going to log out, we're going to log out to some map, and inside we will put the, no, I do not have it. I'll grab it up here, the array that we have created. And our target, which we'll start off again, maybe we'll start with 15. So we're expecting a no solution to be returned. Let's run it. Over here, we do get no solution. All right, let's clean this up a bit. Let's say our target again is 12. So this will be our 3 and our 9. Let's run it. And we do get a 5 and 7. Oh, interesting. That is because we are not going through a full loop. We get these two numbers here. So they are right next to each other. We never make it to 9, so we cannot match 9 with 3, but we did return an answer. Let's add another one. Let's go with 5. Maybe 8. 8, not 18. 8. So what we are expecting is a 3 and a 5 over here. And we do get a 3 and a 5. Very good. And maybe we'll go with 16 to get that 7 and 9. Let's run it. And we do get a 7 and 9. So yeah, pretty straightforward. That's how you use a map for the two-sum question with a target. A lot of times people use the, how would you say? A lot of times people would use a set, but today we are using just a map. Anyways, thank you so much. I hope you learned a little bit. Have a great day. Catch you later.